16. Yeah. All right. So we at Colossians 2, and we're going to pick it up at the 11th verse. And we're dealing with judgmental laws. All right.
Colossians 2 and 11. In him you were also circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, by putting off the body of the sins of the flesh, by the circumcision of Hamashiach.
So he uses circumcision as an allegory or an example of what really takes place when you are in Yehoshua. This is talking about baggage that came with sin. Sin carries baggage. Okay, once again, family, what is the wages of sin?
Death.
Death. But before you get to death, there are some things that take you to death, don't it? So that is a sinful life, Cain. So if there's a sinful life, that means there must be a desire to do sin. So in other words, some of the baggage that came with the desire to have sin was just that, desire to have sin. So when Adam sinned, we inherited a desire to sin. That's why some of us struggle the way we struggle in our heart and mind, because we inherited some of that struggle from Adam. When Adam sinned, all men sinned. And your sin is going to take you to your death. And there's two deaths. The first death is out of this body. The second death is in the lake of fire. And that's where your sins is going to take you, to the lake of fire. So he's talking about right here, he's talking about in this 11th verse, the desire to sin. There's a desire in you to sin, whether you didn't know it or not. That's why we keep doing some of the same things that we've been doing, is because the desire is still there, and we got to kill that thing. And I learned over the years, the best way to kill anything is to starve it. If you starve it, it will die. Whatever it is that's going to take your life, you better starve it. You better admit that I got a problem in this area, and you better forsake yourself in that area. If not, it'll lie dormant, it'll be cool for a little while, and next thing you know, bam, that thing will show up, and that thing will have you in trouble, and you'll be right back at ground zero, starting your works all over again. So we have a desire to sin. We inherit some of that from Adam. So sin has baggage, which caused desire, and this is what he's talking about. So what he's saying, that when you were circumcised in Yehoshua, your baptism or your circumcision in Yehoshua should kill some of the desire, if you desire to be in Yehoshua like your mouth say. So if your heart is where your mouth is at, then some of that desire needs to leave. You know, or else if some of the desire hasn't left or begin to leave, you need to check yourself and ask yourself, am I serious about what I'm saying I'm about? Am I serious about what I'm in or what I'm confessing? Because the system works. The thing is, where are we at in the system? All right? So there's a way to kill some of the desire, is that your desire have to be more for Yah. So as you have more desire for the Most High, the desire for sin will leave you even the more. All right? That's why Yahshua said, the words that I spoke has cleansed you. So all we're waiting on is the manifestation of the cleansing, which is a consecrated, sin-free life. Verse 12.
12. Buried with him in baptism, in which you also were raised with him through faith in the working of Elohim.
So the system that the Father did, you was buried with him when he was baptized. So when Yehoshua died, he went into the earth for how many days? Anybody?
3.
He went in the earth for 3 days. So when you confess today, you died with him. So you went down. This is the Father's system. So you went down with him. Okay, continue on to verse 12 again.
Buried with him in baptism, in which you also were raised with him through faith.
So you raised with him through faith. So in faith, you no longer entrapped with whatever it is you inherited from Adam. Because the second Adam job is to get off of you what the first Adam put on you. See, you inherited something from your father. How many of y'all know that Adam is the first father of all mankind? Cain? So in the kingdom age, who you think going to be the father then of all of the living outside of Yah? Who you think that's going to be? That's right. It's going to be the Messiah. So just like we inherited Adam's body in this realm, in that realm, we're going to inherit Yahushua's body. But before we go there, by faith, we was baptized when he died, and we raised when he rose. So no longer we should be entrapped in everything that Adam did. So the sting or the grip of what Adam did should begin to loose. See what I'm saying? It should begin to get off you. You should not be weighed down with everything that you inherit from Adam. You know, that should be a beginning of some fruit, something showing that I'm changed. You know, I'm no longer the same because I died with the Messiah by faith and I've risen with him. This is all by faith. This is all by faith. All right? Verse 12, one more time with our new minds.
Buried with him in baptism, in which you also were raised with him through faith in the working of Elohim.
In the working of Yah,
who raised him from the dead.
So this is all the Father's plan. Remember, Yah is the husbandman, and Yahushua is the tree, and we are the branches. So this is the Father's protocol. This is his MO, his mode of operation. All right, 13.
13. And you, being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, he has made alive together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses.
So, and you being dead in your sins and the uncircumcision of your flesh. Now, he's not talking about physical circumcision. He's talking about the principle of circumcision. There's a principle behind a physical circumcision outside of it's the Father giving the commandment. Circumcision is a commandment. It's a token of a covenant that the Father promised Abraham and Abraham's DNA descendants a land. That land is called Yisrael. And circumcision is a token, a mark, or a sign reminding the Father that this is what I promised. But it also has a principal meaning behind it. And it means to cut off that which is dead, that which you don't need, that which you don't use. So the circumcision of the foreskin of the flesh is not just a promise, a commandment. It has a principle behind it. Like this past week, I was honored to do this, the circumcision ceremony for Prince and Jessica's new child, which his name is Prince. He was 8 days old this past Thursday. And had a Jewish rabbi came out to the house because he's skilled at circumcising children. But I was honored to do the ceremony, and we read from the scriptures concerning, what circumcision is all about. But once again, circumcision has a spiritual meaning as well as just being a commandment. And the spiritual meaning Shaul is using here in his allegory. He's using it, in his allegory to say that the Father will cut off from your heart that which you don't need. That sin, that nature, that lust that you inherited from Adam. All right? Continue on.
13. And you being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, he has made alive together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses.
Okay. Verse 14.
14. Having wiped out the handwriting of requirements that was against us,
which was contrary
to us. Mm-hmm. And he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the stake. So
Yehoshua died, and when Yehoshua died, he blotted out handwritten of ordinances that was against us. So there are some ordinances, some laws that is against us. And once again, look on the right side of your paper that says judgmental laws. Those judgmental laws exist that's against you. And you were born almost in the negative. Okay, but David told us in Psalms 51, he said that I was born and shaped in iniquity. So what is iniquity? Sin. It means lawlessness, right? So that means you was born, the Father had something against you at birth. So what did he have against you when you was born? These ordinances that was written. And Sister explained to us last week